everyone, and welcome back to the Rumcast. I am John Gulla, and sitting with me through the magic of the internet is Will Hookinga, and together we co-host this podcast that talks all things rum-related with the people who love and shape it. Will, it's been a while since we did an episode with just you and I. But
has it? Yeah. I guess time has flown by. We've done some good interviews. We're loading up on shows right now because I'm a few days away from taking a vacation. Going to be overseas for a couple of weeks, so we're doing overtime to get some episodes in the can, as they say. And this is one of them.
And this is man, I'm super excited for this one, Will. I've been dreaming of this for literally years at this point.
I know.
This is years in the making.
It literally is years in the making. This is an idea that we had. I think you were probably the first person to suggest it, and it's something we wanted to do it for a long time, but we couldn't crack the code on how to pull it off. But we're doing it today. We had some breakthroughs, and we're making it happen. So, John, what are we doing? What's so special about this episode?
Yeah, we are going to do a fantasy rum draft.
Yes,
and I am just incredibly excited. I'm a huge fantasy player. I prefer fantasy football. I think, Will, you like fantasy baseball, right?
No, I started with fantasy football, and in recent years, I've gravitated more towards fantasy basketball.
Right, basketball, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done a fantasy football league in a few years, but I've kept the fantasy theme going with basketball. And I have to say, when you said we are doing a fantasy rum draft, I think that may be the nerdiest sentence that's ever been uttered on our podcast.
I couldn't think of something more appropriate for it, though. It
We're
feels
leaning
right.
into it here.
Yeah. I think this is going to be really, really fun, and I think we owe it to people to kind of explore what this concept is, and kind of give them the inkling, especially for those of you who might not be familiar with fantasy sports, what this concept is.
And I'll preface all this by saying, if you're not into fantasy sports, this is going to be a lot different from how fantasy sports is. This is we're going to get to we're going to go through the mechanics and everything, but essentially what is going to happen is John and I are each going to build our ideal rum bars, and then you're going to get to vote on who made the better rum bar. But before we get into that specifically, we do want to talk about some of the finer points and things like that.
Right. So we'll keep it short, but I wanted to introduce the concept by talking about fantasy sports, which is the bigger platform for this and what happens there, and then we'll talk about how we've adapted it to make sense in our world.
Had to do some adapting.
Yeah. So in fantasy sports, you draft players from their real life sports league. So the NFL, you draft players that play football, and you make up your own team from those players you selected, and other people in your league will do the same thing, and you'll go head to head against them. And how it works is your players will play their real life games, and your fantasy team will then score points for that player. And of course, the goal is to beat your opponent by your players doing better and scoring more points. So what we're doing here is similar in certain ways, but Will, to your point, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
And we're going to be drafting different rums here and making up our own teams to go up against one another here. So it's you versus me, Will, mano a mano.
That's right.
But of course, since there are no real life games played with the rums we're going to be drafting, we're going to have to rely on you all, our listeners and Patreon subscribers, to judge ultimately who's going to win here, who's going to have the better rum bar.
Right.
So
as opposed to a week-to-week, season-long endeavor, this is a one-time winner-take-all where we have the draft, and then listeners, patrons are going to vote on who has created the better bar. And I think the mental exercise we came up with this for this was, if we were each on a desert island and we had to construct our ideal rum bar, what would it look like? And now, the problem that you run into with this is that sounds great in theory, but then if you're just operating from the standpoint of pick 10 rums or something like that, that leaves way too many options on the table, because obviously we could each pick 10 great rums, and that's not really as fun. So what we had to do was come up with constraints to make this interesting. So what are some of the constraints we came up with, John?
Well, this is where I think you had, Will, the master genius stroke here of making this work.
I was just taking a shower and it came to me.
Hey, I'll take it. It was a great idea. Yeah, this is what held us up from doing this forever, is exactly the point you just said. But you came up with the idea of saying, well, how are we going to limit these rums and that we can select? Well, I think what we're doing here is we're just going to use one online rum retailer website, and we're going to choose from the selection that they have on their site. Right. Those rums they have, and those rums alone. Nothing else exists.
Right.
So you're going to probably be thinking through this, well, they haven't picked, this rum, or I think Foursquare ECS isn't on this site. So there's no Foursquare ECS we're going to pick here, or Paranubes, or many others that would come to mind that aren't on this website. But that's part of what we're doing here, and that's part of what the challenge is. So if you want to follow along, we're going to be using Pike's out of New York. So it's Pike's Liquors. And
we'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, and you can look through their online selection. It's fairly large, I would say, Will, right?
Yeah, I'd say it's a good rum selection. I think kind of in addition to limiting the scope to make this more challenging and fun and force us into tough choices, it also just kind of simulates the real life experience to an extent of, we all have limited options depending on where we are, unless maybe some of our listeners who live in Italy or somewhere like that have all the great shops, or listeners in London that can go to the Whiskey Exchange, or Paris that can go to La Maison du Whiskey and places like that. Maybe they've got all the great options, but we wanted to, recapture that experience that we all have of being in a store with limited options. But we were, tossing around a few different ideas. We were thinking about like K&L Wines. That's a popular online store that has a really great selection. We ended up going with Pike's, because first of all, I think we've both ordered from Pike's before. It ships to both of our states. Unfortunately, I can't order from K&L in Tennessee. They're in California.
Right. Same here in Florida.
So we had positive experiences with Pike's multiple times, and it's that kind of moderate to advanced rum selection where it's not like they have every geeky bottle under the sun, but they certainly have a better than average selection and some interesting choices, but also, some mainstays and things like that. So I think that is going to, make this fun. And then the other thing is, much like in fantasy football, how you have to draft certain roster positions. So you have to have like one quarterback, you have to draft 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs. We had to come up with what types of rum are we drafting. So we came up with, what do we love about rum? There's so many different types. So we had to come up with set categories that we each have to have on our team. So John, how did we come up with these categories?
Yeah, well, we started with Smuggler's Cove book and the great categories that Martin and Rebecca Kate had put down there, which felt like a very good starting point for us.
That was a jumping off point.
Right, exactly. We know that it's very difficult to categorize rum exactly. And I think we both felt like, well, this is a perfect starting point, but we needed to evolve it a little bit.
Yeah, and so we rumcastified it and pure like, they're using a categorization system that works for their bar, that works for kind of a broader purpose than what we're doing here, which is just this fun, ridiculous fantasy rum draft. And so we took some of the principles there, but also threw in some of our own categories, also simplified some stuff. They have like 20 something categories. We didn't want to do that many categories. Yeah. So should I just quickly go through the ones that we landed on?
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, so we have unaged rum. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
We have lightly aged rum, which are rums aged under 5 years.
Right.
We have aged rums, which are rums aged 5 to 14 years. We're going to have to draft 3 of those. The other 2 categories I mentioned were just 1 for each of those. We have long aged rums, which are rums aged 15 years or more. We're each going to draft 2 of those. Then we have cane juice unaged, cane juice aged, multi-country blend, which was kind of an addition that we came up with. That's, not a Smuggler's Cove category.
Right.
Non-Caribbean, we're each going to do 2 of those. Overproof. This was, I was getting flashbacks to Matt Petrick has an article about why categorizing rums as overproof is completely stupid and people should stop doing it. Yeah. And I was thinking of that as we decided on an overproof category, and Matt's points are 100% dead on in that article. But I think what we're going through here is just have a slot where you have a really high octane rum. And we're recognizing that, Hamilton 151 is completely different from Ray and Nephew Overproof, for example. You would probably use them for different purposes, but this is our chance to decide which type of high octane rum we want to stock in our bar. So anyway, we're aware of the problems with the overproof category, but for simplicity's sake, we're doing it right here. And then the last two categories, a 100% column still rum and a 100% pot still rum. So that's 15 different rums we'll be drafting. And then we each have a bench as well. So we'll think of this like we're drafting 3 extra rums that can be of any category. And John, explain the purpose of the bench, because this was an innovation that you came up with for this.
Yeah, well, the idea is, if we're mimicking the fantasy idea here of fantasy sports and categorizing how we're going to do this, it helps to have a few rums that we would be able to put into different categories, and that gives us, instead of, we're just not each going to pick, and I'm going to say this is my unaged, and Will, you'll say this is your unaged. At this point, we're going to draft rums. Yes, they'll clearly fit into some categories, but some of these are going to fit into more than one
Multiple
category.
Categories, right?
Yeah, and so you have this extra added value for some of the picks we may have, and you might even be able to just stash a few of those on your bench and play with what you would call your starting lineup of those 15 spots. And the reason we also do this is because now Will and I get to have a little strategy after the draft too, because we can think about, what is my best chance to score some points, and we're going to talk about how we're going to do that in just a second, against Will, in this case, against each other, to figure out how we can manipulate the matchups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what that's about. And then finally, I think probably one of the most important restrictions that we're giving ourselves.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, is we don't have unlimited money.
Yes.
Just like real life, Will. In addition to only selecting from Pike's online liquors, which I think was roughly, 200 to 250 rums in and around that range?
So we omitted, if you go to the rum category on Pike's website, that will also include things like spiced rums and flavored rums.
Right, and we got rid of those.
Omitted those. I made a master spreadsheet that has everything, and there are 173 rums in it, to give you an idea of the selection we're picking from.
But to restrict us from just picking the biggest, baddest stuff on there that costs many hundreds of dollars, because that doesn't feel right either, we're going to have $1,000 each to spend.
$1,000 to spend on 18 rums.
All 18 rums, yep.
Yeah.
And we're not
including tax, so don't give us a hard time about that. No one wants to calculate tax in a fantasy rum scenario.
I don't know, Wes Bergen may want to.
That's true. Our upcoming interview with the fat rum pirate, Wes Bergen, he might not like our idea of ignoring the taxes.
Yeah, he moonlights as a tax accountant. So
I think you got it backwards. He moonlights as a rum reviewer.
Oh no, I was being silly, but so anyhow, that's going to be our restrictions. That's how we're going to have to figure this out. So anytime we pick a bottle, we're going to deduct that from our $1,000, and that will leave us with the rest of our budget. You cannot go over, meaning, Will, if you overspend and you still have 3 categories left, you may not be able to put things in your bench, or you may not be able to put things into a category. So
you're gonna have that
there's
moment
definitely
where you have
some strategy.
You have to go back and put stuff on back on the shelf,
I've done that once or twice. Yeah. That's really where we're going. So I think we've covered the basics on things now. The only thing left is to talk about is, how are we going to score this thing? How is this going to work?
Yeah, we're coming up with with how to do the voting. Like we said, we want this to be an interactive, fun experience for everyone listening to join in and participate with us. So watch the show notes, watch on social media. We're going to announce how we're going to do the voting for this, but there's probably going to be a component that is just viewing all the rums totally. Whose bar do you think is better? And then I also think there will be a component where it's more of a head-to-head matchups thing. So
each category.
Yeah, so you would essentially be voting on each category. Like, who has the better unaged rum, John or Will? Who has the better lightly aged rum, John or Will? And, whoever wins the most categories would win the fantasy rum. I guess this is a tournament. It's only 2 people, but so maybe we'll just say matchup.
Yeah, this can be an exhibition this year. We can figure it's just friendly, an exhibition.
Yeah,
it's a friendly match. I mean, I'm still going to win, but
yeah, of course.
I'm fine calling it an exhibition to start with. Let you warm up a little bit.
I did all my trash talking over text earlier. I didn't save it for the podcast. I do, before we jump into this, I do want to ask, what's your strategy?
You think I'm going to tell you my strategy now?
I thought maybe if I just asked it casually, you would just reveal it.
You will see my strategy soon enough. Right after the break, when we start picking, it will be evident, I think, early on in the draft.
All right.
So,
well, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and start with the picks.
All right, and we are back and ready to draft. But before we do draft, we have to figure out who's going first.
That's right. So I'm going to flip a coin via Google. Interesting. I just found out if you Google flip a coin, Google will literally flip a coin for you. So, John, what would you like to pick since I am going to be the one flipping, or in this case, clicking?
You know, it doesn't even matter. I'm good with going first or second, but I'm just going to go with trusty old heads, and we'll see. Right. We'll see how this goes.
It's in the air. It's flipping. Oh, it's tails.
Oh, all right.
Wait, so is this like football where I get to defer or elect to pick?
If you want to defer, I'll take first pick. I mean, totally up to you. Yeah, you can do that.
No, I'll take the first pick.
A wise choice. All right.
So, with my first pick in the draft, I am going to select... Drum roll. Can I get a drum roll?
Yep.
Rumfire Overproof.
Son of a bitch! Are you serious?
Was that your strategy?
Are you even? Yes! I will show you the sheet afterwards.
Oh, man, I love it.
Holy crap. I thought I was going a total different direction than you.
Yeah, you did, but guess what? I'm just as smart, or maybe smarter. That's
why are you going with Rumfire overall? Let's hear it.
This is I'm listing this in Unaged for now. John and I are looking at our little spreadsheet. I might end up moving that to another. Actually, I should go ahead and put that in the Overproof category. So I'm going to do that. But my thinking here was that if you're looking at our choices, and we'll share our spreadsheet so people can if you're listening, you can look at all the different options we have and stuff. But the Overproof category has 6 options. So it's a slim category. Also, a lot of the Overproof rums are pretty versatile. They can fit into other categories. I don't want to reveal too much of what I'm thinking right now, because I can see John's beady little eyes trying to figure out what I'm doing over here. And so, and also, I mean, Rumfire is fucking awesome. So, like, who wouldn't want it on their fantasy team? So, fortunately, it's on my team now. And so, John, I will turn it over to you. I'm interested now that I've completely blown up your plan before your eyes.
Yes, you have.
I'm interested to see how you're going to pick up the pieces and move on from here.
I am thinking of that Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Yes, because you just punched me in the mouth with that. I had it lined up. Like, I was ready. You sniped
Rumfire has punched a lot of people in the mouth. So
that's a good
don't
point.
Feel bad. You're not the first.
Okay, well, look, I have options, and
keep telling yourself that.
One thing that you will know about fantasy drafts is if you do any fantasy drafts, you don't chase categories.
Right.
So I'm not going to chase your category.
That's one approach.
I'm going a different way here.
Okay.
We're going with a rum that I think is worthy of a first round pick here.
Oh,
for a lot of reasons. It is, but it's not. It's not that worthy.
Thought you were setting something up there.
Yeah, no. If I did, I was completely wrong in saying so. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going Probitas Veritas for my first pick.
All right,
as a lightly aged and multi-country blend, which there are few and precious of.
Right.
I think it's a fantastic rum. The price on this is always, I think it's unbeatable. It's listed at $28.
Yeah, and we should note we're rounding up, basically. So
yes.
I think this is like $27.99. We're just listing it as 28. So
those combinations of factors, and here's the single thing that I think it was going to be my second pick, but now my first pick, is because it is unique.
Yeah,
there is nothing else that can replace this, in my opinion, in terms of what this is as a blend of Jamaican and Barbados rums, lightly aged, and what it brings to the table. You can sip it, you can mix with it.
Yeah.
It's got to be on my team. So that's my number one pick.
I like it. I mean, I would be lying if I said that Probitas wasn't one of the rums on the list that I have in bold over here in my own private little draft command center. But I'm feeling good. You know, it's interesting. I picked a $27 rum with the first pick, and you picked a $28 rum in the first pick. So just showing that there's a lot of value out there in rum. Of course, there's some strategy involved in those picks. Okay, so for my second pick, I am going to go with the long-aged category. I'm going to mosey over to that category because that's another one. There aren't a ton of rums in Pike's selection that are 15 years or older. In fact, there are only 17 of them. And I gotta break out the wallet for this one. I'm big spending, John. Big spending on this one. I'm going with Mount Gay Andean Oak for this one.
Wow. Okay.
You will know this isn't a rum that I have had before. I know you own a bottle of it.
I do. I had it last night.
And for some reason haven't sent me a sample. But I obviously respect Mount Gay. I heard wonderful things about this rum. And again, some of this is selection. There aren't a ton of long-aged rums right now at Pike's. That isn't always the case, but I'm just saying what's in the inventory right now. There aren't a ton that I'm just in love with.
Right.
So I wanted to go with something that is unique, is special. This is a limited rum. And for Mount Gay, it's a little bit higher ABV since this is a product released from the distillery. It's 48% ABV, which I know isn't blowing the doors off. It's not cask strength, but still I'm expecting it to pack a lot of flavor. It's aged 14 years and 11, and then in standard ex-bourbon, then I think 11 months in an Andean oak cask. And actually, we had a little text conversation of if this could be included in the long-aged category since it's 1 month short, but we decided to round up. So anyway, I'm picking that one. And also, since I know you love this rum so much, I was kind of hoping it would piss you off. But you definitely don't seem upset like you did for the first pick. So it looks like I miscalculated there.
I do love this rum. You're right. Like I said, I literally had it last night and I came back to it and revisited it often because it is really fantastic. And like you said, it's unique. But $200 turned me off of picking it.
I told you I was big spending.
Yeah. And that's a lot for jumping out front with there. And I'm sure you've done some calculations on the back end already.
I've done some mock drafting.
Yeah, my hope is to blow you up a little bit on that by the time you get to the end, and then you'll have to figure something out.
Maybe so.
There.
Maybe so.
So, still, it is a good pick, and that is a really great rum. It's going to be hard to beat it. All right, so we're moving into my second round pick here. I'm going to stay with a theme here. You're going to notice a theme with this, maybe.
Young rum, maybe?
Nope. A theme that's slightly different in that it is tied to the same distillery.
Okay.
That's my first pick.
Foursquare, I'm guessing.
It is. I'm going with Dorley's 12.
Dorley's 12. Okay. A classic.
Dorley's 12.
A classic rum. Can't go wrong with it. I knew this rum would get picked. I just didn't know if you would do it or if I would do it.
Yeah. I mean, you knew for that exact reason is why it's a high pick for me, because I felt like I had to beat you to it in order to get it. And Dorley's 12 is, again, we mentioned, there's no Foursquare ECS on the site on Pikes right now. I would have considered it. But again, look at the price for Dorley's 12.
$30.
$30. So a 12-year-old age statement on this. 43% is not going to blow you out of the water with the ABV, but it's not 40% either.
Right.
I mean, it's really hard to beat this, and I can use it in a lot of ways.
It's a great value pick. Two great value picks for your first two. I know my second one was not a value pick at all. So I'm seeing your strategy coming together. I'm saving.
Happy with that.
You're saving. Yep. You're gonna try to bowl me over with the picks toward the end.
Well, I'm hoping you'll pick another $200 rum here, and it'll get really easy for me.
By the way, we haven't officially named our teams yet. We talked about coming up with goofy names like people do in fantasy football drafts. But I wanted to wait until my roster was set because I like to see the players, see the bottles I have before I come up with that team name. I need to know the vibe. But I will say I did some brainstorming and I had two Dorley's-based suggestions, which I'll give to you now since you're the first one to draft Dorley's. Okay. So one is Dorley Noted.
I like it. Okay.
The other
Dorley Noted is good. Yeah.
The other one is Dorley You Jest.
Okay. That was a little dad jokey there. All right. I like Dorley Noted, though. Those
are free ideas for you.
All right. I like it. I've got some of my own also. So as they come up, we'll see We'll see if we can pull those out. All right, you're up for your round 3 already. This is moving.
All right, so for my third round pick, I'm not going to go inexpensive again. I'm not going to go nearly as expensive as the last pick, but
okay.
I am going to the aged cane juice rum category, and I'm taking a trip over to where else? Where else are you going to go for aged cane juice rum but Martinique, right?
Of course.
And I am going to take the Nissan View 102 proof. This was one of the Ed Hamilton selections.
Yeah.
And this one, I believe, aged in ex-cognac casks for, I think it was around 3 years, and then I think a year in more standard, like ex-bourbon or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I've had a sample of this. I have a bottle of another one from this series of picks that I actually selected last year when we did our roundup of our favorite rums from last year. It was one of my favorite rums. That one was aged. It was about 4 years in new French oak. And it was just spectacular. I loved it. I got the chance to try a sample of this one. Really, really good. This one's awesome too. I prefer the other one slightly. The only reason I'm not picking that one is because it's sold out. I actually ordered that one from Pike's. So I'm going to take that one. Nissan is one of my favorite distilleries right now. And if I'm thinking aged cane juice rum, this is one that I know I'm just going to be super glad I got for my bar. So $86, not cheap, but you know, I've got the breathing room. I've still got $773 left, John. Come on.
I don't know, man. You're blowing through that budget pretty quick.
Can't take it with you.
But I also get this one. I feel like you're locking up this category almost. It's going to be hard to compete here with that. And I haven't even had this rum. I've just heard you talk about it.
You see my strategy emerging now, right? Don't you?
I know enough about it, yes, that I would say that's going to be tough. I might have some contenders. We'll see. We'll see. Because really, remember, this isn't just up to you and I's opinion.
I know,
right?
Yeah.
It's up to the people out there, and there may be plenty of people out there who are going to like my pick better.
Yeah.
So,
well, I can see, you know, as I see these picks unfolding, I'm seeing kind of who is staying true to their soul and not thinking about the public, and who's really playing to the crowd, Mr. Provitas and Dorley's 12.
Oh, hey, I'm just saying, you want to win, you got to go where the points are. And speaking of going where the points are,
okay,
I think my next pick will continue that trend.
All right.
This is a rum that I believe you and I both very, very much enjoy, or a cousin of this rum that we very much enjoyed.
Okay.
I'm finally going to spend some money here.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to get some money out of this one, but I believe it is money well spent, because there is not really, in my opinion, as you mentioned, long-aged rums are hard to find on the site right now.
Yep.
And this one is an all-column as well.
Oh, okay. So some versatility with this pick.
So yeah. So we're going Holmes Key Belize.
Ah, the 2006.
The 2006, yes.
Right.
So a 16-year Belize aged rum here. So long aged here. 61% ABV. I will take it all day. I did get a sample of this, and I was able to try this, and it is very close to the 2005 that we both loved very much. There's a lot to love here. And is it 2007 or 2005?
2005.
Okay.
No, I made a face just because I don't think I would go quite so far in saying it's similar to the 2005, but that's just me. Yeah. So if you love this rum, you should take it.
Well, look, for this price, I don't think you're going to get close.
Was it 130?
Yeah, 130.
All right.
And like I mentioned, it's hard to find a really great long-aged all-column distilled rum, and I think it's really the only one, in my opinion, on this site of those two categories together combined. Maybe I see the.
They've got some of the Blackadder Panamas. I haven't had those.
That's fair.
I'm just not really
either.
enamored with. Well, okay, I'm not going to say anymore because I'm going to give away my strategy.
No. Keep talking.
No.
What were you going to say about that?
No, I'm good. Good.
All right.
Good pick. You can't go wrong picking home ski. So that's
I think
good. I'm glad you finally spent
Yeah.
some money, John. You deserve to treat yourself. And just to check in, you've spent $188 while I have spent $313. So
wow,
pretty stark.
that's like double. Yeah.
It's not really like double, but yeah,
It's close enough.
It's approximate. All right, my next pick. I think I'm going to go in a direction that you aren't expecting me. I'm going to go back in the value direction. And I'm also thinking with 100% column still in mind. So that is a category that we both must do. And I'm not going to go in the long age direction here. It's, looking through the 100% column still category, there's a lot of great cane juice rums on here.
There is.
Like you were saying, there aren't a ton, though, that are longer age. So I'm going to go value with this, and I'm going to go with a classic rum, and one that you may be a little surprised by. I'm going to go with Bourbon Court 8-year.
Ooh, wow. I am surprised by that, because I thought you didn't like it.
Yeah, so I've mentioned on the podcast before, because that comes up as a great value rum pretty frequently. And I've mentioned before that I think I said in the past it had a kind of a burnt plastic note that I didn't care for.
Right.
I've been going back to that rum recently, and I just don't really. It's still there faintly, but it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. And it's just a really nice, well put together rum. And at $28 for a cane juice 8-year-old rum, that's pretty fantastic. Very hard to beat. Bourbon Court 8-year, that's my pick. I'm going to slot it in currently in the 100% column spot, and I'm saving some money here. So only up to $341 now. Still got $659 left, and the floor is now yours, my friend.
All right, so I'm going to go in my next pick here with a distillery that we've already visited.
All right.
In this draft.
All right.
And so I think that this is going to be the second distillery with multiple picks on it, because we had Foursquare earlier. We're going to go with an unaged rum here.
All right.
Specifically an unaged agricole rum.
Okay.
That I believe you will not be able to defeat this.
Ooh, I think I know what you're going with, but go ahead.
I'm going with Nissan Blanc.
Yeah, I knew that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Nissan Blanc. The 1 liter bottle.
Yes, you get the added benefit of it being a 1 liter bottle, 50% ABV for $37.
Yeah, that is going to be tough to beat in the unaged category.
Yep, tough to beat. Of all of the unaged agricoles that I've had, this is certainly among the top.
Yep.
There's some that I still enjoy in the same league as this, but man, I would struggle to find something that I think would just hands down beat this.
Yeah. So, if you hadn't picked this, I was definitely going to pick it at some point. Yeah. So I think that
you got me scared with your other one. So
I think that was a smart pick. Okay. For my next pick, I'm not being strategic here. I'm just following my heart with this pick. This is just a pick that's good. Yeah. I love this rum. I've talked about this rum a lot, and my only fear is that maybe you would pick it just to try to get under my skin, kind of like I was trying to do with you with the Mount Gay.
Okay.
So I'm going to be picking Hampton Estate, the Green Label 46% ABV rum at $53. It's going to slot into my aged rum category. I had to have some Hampton representation in here, and I
already had Rumfire. Damn it, you're taking all the
That's true. I said I needed Hampton representation, and I have like the most high-octane Hampton rum. Yeah. So this rum, I mean, what else can be said about it? I just think in that range, that $50 or so range for a moderately aged Jamaican rum, this is just my favorite one on the market. That's like not high proof and approachable, but flavorful, and I've got to have it. So I have to go ahead and get this one down. $53 more, so not cheap, but also not, super prohibitively pricey. So I'm still feeling good about where I am budget wise, and I'm very happy to have locked up this rum.
Yeah, I had this as a target.
Okay.
For all the reasons you said. One was to piss you off, and two is because I believed it really is a good pick here, and hard to do better than that, especially for the price.
Well, thank you. Now your turn to respond. Where are you going to go?
Well, since I didn't get a chance to get under your skin with that one, I guess I'm going to have to go with this one to get under your skin.
All right. All right.
You have a feeling you know what it is,
I know what it is.
I'm gonna take a trip out of the Caribbean here.
Yeah,
and
go
it's actually
way a long journey, aren't you?
Long journey away. We're gonna go with it's actually in my glass right now, and I am enjoying it as I have very much enjoyed it in the last year plus, and think it's still underrated. And that is the Homesky Fiji Single Origin Blend,
selected by the Rumcast.
yes, so, and Eric.
Yeah, and Eric.
And Eric. Yeah.
I knew one of us would pick this, and I'm definitely. I kind of thought you might pick this first, actually, because it does check some boxes. It's lightly aged. It's a multi-country blend. It's also a non-Caribbean rum, so it goes into a lot of places. Things. What's the price on that?
$46.
A steal.
Yep.
Oh, that is really good. I'm reeling a little bit right now. because you go into this knowing kind of what your first few things are going to be, and then the game starts to unfold a bit, and you have to start thinking more in real time. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to also comment on stuff, keep the podcast interesting. Normally during fantasy drafts, I'm just sitting here like an idiot, just completely silent, poring over stats and things. So
those all sound like good excuses if you lose. I like it. Yeah.
You bastard. Okay, so I've got to go on the defensive here. I've got to head to the non-Caribbean picks as well, because like you were saying, there's not an unlimited amount of these. There's only 15 of them, and I'm going to go similar to what you did earlier by taking the Homeski Belize 2006. I'm going to take another one of the newer Homeski releases and go with the Homeski Australia. What's the year on this one?
Yeah, I'm reeling from.
He's crestfallen.
It's a 10-year, so crestfallen is a good word. Yeah, so it's 2012.
Yeah, so the Homeski Australia 2012. This is 61% ABV rum from Binley, Australia. Binley Distillery in Australia. And it's all pot still. And if you're familiar with the TCRL, Transcontinental Rum Line Australia release, same distillery. And if you've had the TCRL 2013, which I think is at 48% ABV, I like to say that if you like that rum, you will love this one, because it's just even more flavor. It's got some more age. It's just got that unique Binley signature to it, where there isn't another rum that really tastes like their rum. Yeah. And I just got a sample of this and really been enjoying it. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. It's another. I'm spending early, I think, is kind of the difference in our strategy. You seem to be wanting to save your money for the end, and I'm kind of coming out of the gate. That's my second 3-figure purchase here at $100. So yeah, I've spent $494. I've spent almost half my budget already on these first 6 picks. So
yeah, only a third of the way through, but half the budget blown.
That's right. So where are you going next?
First of all, I did have this as a target also. So yes, you stole this one from out from under me. Really, really like it. I'm sad about that one.
I can tell.
You've made me officially sad.
It's making me like the pick even more.
I'm not really sure at this point if my strategy or your strategy is really better. I'm looking forward to the end of the draft.
There's certainly strategies.
So I'm going to keep going with it. I'm going to ride this strategy out.
All right.
So we're going to go with something that maybe you didn't expect a little bit here. But when I saw it, I was just like, this feels like if I'm on the deserted island, this is a rum I want to have around for a lot of reasons.
All right.
And it's Black Tot.
Oh.
So we're going with Black Tot.
This is a painful one for me. I had that one as a target.
Yeah, at $52, it's I don't have the particular specs on it right now. I know it's a multi-country blend from a lot of different places.
You're talking Black Tot, it's going to to be a big long list of stuff. Anyone who's
I know it's Jamaica, Guyana, and
our Black Tot
others.
interview. Yeah.
I would say go back and listen to that if you want to hear more about.
It's a multi-country blend.
Yeah, but it is a representation of what you can do in a blended rum that I think is far different than many of the other picks we have here, which are single distillery or they're more limited in scope. But this one is really pulling together all of these different elements to make this fantastic rum that you can absolutely sip and enjoy. So I think it's a good pick at $52. Again, I think that's a value pick for me that will slot that one into my multi-country blend, and I will be happy to not have to think about multi-country blends again for a while.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I had that one earmarked. That was probably my top choice for multi-country blend out of the 14 options I agree, there isn't really another one in the store that is like this one. There are a lot of other options that, while I do think you can enjoy them neat, are primarily designed for cocktails. So, you backed me into a corner there. So, let's see what I want to do here. I think I am, as you continued your pattern, I'm going to continue my pattern of spending exorbitantly.
Okay.
Not that this is an exorbitantly priced product, because it's not. It's just for someone with my current budget situation. It might be... Could be a mistake. I don't know. We'll find out. I've never done this before.
Okay.
I am going to go to the aged category. I'm going to go... Actually, I guess I'm going to make it back-to-back Homeski picks. I am going to pick the Homeski Barbados 2012 Port Cask pick. So this is at $95. Again, just another solid Homeski pick. It's from Foursquare. It's cask strength. It's got the port finish. So, or port secondary maturation. So that is something kind of unique and different about it. And yeah, I wanted, again, this is me thinking about wanting some more high strength sipping options in my lineup here. So currently in that aged lineup, I've got Hampton. So I want something different from that. I've got the Holmes Key, Barbados now. I've also got the Mount Gay thing. So maybe some Barbados redundancy there, but those are each distinct in their own right. I'm feeling comfortable about that. So I only have $411 left right now, and I'm feeling a little nervous about that, but there's plenty of great value picks left. So I'm gonna be okay. Where are you gonna go with your next pick?
I'm gonna need to think a minute here because I'm not really sure.
Yeah, so the good part about thinking for a minute is we can speed that up in the editing process, so people don't have to listen.
You'll never know.
2 minutes of silence. John's actually been taking 10 minutes between every pick. It's been agonizing.
That's totally not true. That is bullshit. No. All right, I'm going to pick. I'm going to go to Haiti. You've been there. I'm going to go there. So this is a personal favorite of mine, and not all of the Haitian Clarins are represented on the site.
Right.
Just to say.
Right.
But of the ones that are, I'm going with the Clarin Le Rocher.
Okay.
As my pick.
All right.
It's the best barbecue potato chips flavor rum, which it's not a flavored rum, obviously, for those of you who are not familiar with it. It's just an unaged cane juice rum, all pot, and 49.8% ABV for $40.
Yeah.
And it's just so out there and so different.
The only other
pretty much anything else
rum that comes to mind when you say barbecue chips is MOBA for me, which is an option, but would certainly be higher priced for you.
Yep. So I'm sticking with my theme of value here. Feeling pretty happy with it. Just very different, and I'm glad to have it.
Sure. All right, I'm going to go back to the long-aged category. So round out, I made my first one earlier. I spent $200 on it. I need to save some money on this pick, but I want to pick something that is still not represented in my current rum lineup in terms of countries. So I might surprise you with this pick, but I am going to go to El Dorado 15. Bring in something from Guyana. I really like the decision that DDL has made over the last few years to take out whatever it was that was sweetening the El Dorado 12 and El Dorado 15. And so I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that this is the new El Dorado 15. I'm assuming it is because that rum moves pretty regularly. And at only $44, really affordable, and just, a classic rum. It's one that I really want the rum world to be able to have access to more products from this distillery that don't have any kind of additives in them. So I just need that Guyana, that Demerara rum style. I need it somewhere present in my bar because I love Demerara rums. And yeah, so I'm gonna go a little value here, but get a solid 15-year-old aged rum that, isn't high octane, doesn't blow the doors off, but classic. I think it's one of Lance Surajbali's key rums of the world, and that's kind of how I feel about it as well. So I'm happy to have it here in my lineup. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think it is another key, just kind of super recognizable, well-respected product.
It's on the syllabus. It's on the syllabus.
Yeah. Between the 12 and the 15, do you have a personal favorite of those?
The 15.
Okay.
What about you?
I flip-flop.
Yeah.
I've some days I've had the 15 and right. But I was just curious to see there because I had considered both of those.
Well, I simplified things for you now.
You did. That's true. I have but one option left.
That's true.
If I'm going to go that route.
That's right.
But I'm not.
All right.
I'm going to go somewhere else.
All right.
I am going to follow a trend, though. You said you're diversifying a little bit with your countries, and I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to take a rum here that most people would think, oh, gosh, you're going to pick this rum. It's very sweetened. But this bottle is not actually. No additives in this bottle, and it's hard to find this particular distillery with no additives, and happens to be all pot still.
Okay.
Which is also very rare. We are going with Diplomatico, the number 3 experimental pot still.
Wow, rum. I did not expect that. So tell me more about why you picked this.
Well, so number one, $75 doesn't feel like a hefty price to pay. It's 47 ABV. It's a respectable 47 ABV.
Sure.
And again, you're getting a rum here that you get to experience as a nice sipping rum without the sugar, with being higher than 40%, and all pot still. And I've actually had this rum. Of the three of those, there's three offerings that they did here. This one is by far and away my favorite.
Yeah, I actually have not had any of these. I've seen them, and I think it's probably just, I'm basing my own thoughts of their more, common, widely available products, even though I think I knew that there were no additives in this. It just hasn't been a priority for me, but I am curious to explore that a bit.
Yeah, and it's just rare that you get a Spanish heritage country with an all pot still rum.
Sure. Yeah, it's certainly
I feel like there's
a unique pick.
Yeah, there's a rarity value there that I like about it. So, all right, that's where I'm going.
All right, so I need to square away my multi-country blend category, and I think where I'm going to go with this is the Hamilton Zombie Blend. I actually just got to pick up a bottle of this recently, and it's a really tasty, well done blend. I don't even make zombies. I'm not even going to use the rum for that. I just got it because I think it's an interesting collaboration between Ed Hamilton and Jeff Berry. And
wait, so you got a zombie blend rum that you're not going to use to make zombies?
There's too many ingredients. I'm not going to buy fresh grapefruit that often. I can't be troubled. I'm not going to make cinnamon syrup and all that stuff. But it works as just a really good high strength rum. I think this would technically qualify as overproof by our definition, which I think is anything over 57% ABV.
Right,
I think this is about 59%, if I'm remembering correctly. There's some Jamaica in the blend. There's more Guyana in the blend. So again, getting a little bit more of that Guyana flavor in there. It's a liter bottle for $40. So just like all Hamilton products, like I've never seen a Hamilton product where I haven't thought it was a good value. Maybe some of the single casks, but that's kind of a different animal from their, kind of standard stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to wrap up my multi-country blend category. I've got something that fits that now.
It's a trendy pick. It's very on trend.
What's trendy about it? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying it's it's new in the market. It's still
not that new.
Newish.
It's been around for like over a year. Come on.
Has it really been already a year? No, I don't know. I feel like it's a chic pick.
It's not a chic.
You got a chic pick. Yeah.
You probably don't even like the bottle.
I don't actually though.
I do. I love all the Hamilton bottles.
Oh man, Hamilton. I love the rum, but man, the bottles are just tough for me to look at. I'm not going to extrapolate on that, but Ed, if you're listening, we need to talk.
You better be prepared for him to call you. Ed.
Yeah, right, and choke me out. That's right.
So where are you going next?
All right, I'm going to go with one that I think you would have seen this one coming. If I had to guess, you knew that I was going to go here at some point and pick this. Pick from this family.
Okay.
But the one I'm picking might surprise you a little bit of the family. There's no rum bar complete in my mind without St. Lucia.
Yeah.
We're going to go to St. Lucia here, and I'm going to pick Admiral Rodney.
I knew you were going to pick an Admiral Rodney. It's not surprising to me at all.
Speaking of bottle design, this is the most fantastic bottle looking behind a bar. I mean, it just immediately draws you in. That squatty design with a big, huge cork topper on it. It's just fantastic. I'm going with specifically. Stopper. It is the stopper. Yes, Admiral Rodney's Officer's Pick number 2.
All right.
And I have not tried this rum, but I'm really, really interested in trying it. What I like about it, though, is number one, Don Davies from the Whiskey Exchange loves it and has highly recommended it.
A good sign.
And that's good enough for me. It's finished in Irish whiskey casks. And that is super interesting. I don't have anything like that. And if I was really picking something I really wanted to buy for me to try today, I would buy this. Also, it is $100, so it's not cheap here. And it's only 45 ABV. Mm-hmm. So it's on the low end for the price.
Right.
You're paying for that bottle a little bit, unfortunately. But what I will say is the other Admiral Rodney releases are 40 ABV.
Yeah, I know.
So I will take that extra 5% for the extra $30 or whatever it is. and I will run with that.
Yeah, that's my general complaint about Admiral Rodney is I just feel that for the price they should be at least 43%. I'd love to see all of them at 45%. But yeah, I haven't had the officers' picks. I do think this is interesting. Although, I saw the Irish whiskey finish and I was like, that's interesting because I haven't seen that done very much. But then I was also, and I could be totally wrong because I'm not a global whiskey expert or any whiskey expert, but my impression of Irish whiskey is a style that is like pretty light and not super like punch you in the face and stuff like that. So I guess I question a little bit just like how much the finish really impacts it all that much. That's just... I would still be happy to try it. I'm just saying that's like the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it.
It's interesting because I actually took the opposite mental approach.
Okay.
There, I agree with what you said. I think Irish whiskey is a little lighter and doesn't knock you over as much as maybe some other scotches and things of that are heavier. But to me, I want my rum to taste like rum and just have a little bit of something on there.
Totally.
And so that fits to me if it's done well and it's done right. And worst case scenario, Will, if your point is, hey, maybe the finish doesn't really come through,
right?
I've still got a fantastic Admiral Rodney's rum at 45 ABV instead of 40.
Right. No, that's your point is well taken, and I'm the same way. If something has secondary maturation finish or whatever, I want a hint of that thing. Like I don't want it to taste like rum plus port or whatever it's been finished in. I hate when that happens. Most of the rums that end up like that I do not end up buying again or sometimes finishing the whole bottle. So your point is well taken with that.
I trust St. Lucia distillers to do it right. Yeah,
I do too. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Denny Duplessis, master blender, he knows what he's doing over there. All right, so what I'm going to do here?
Don't screw me.
I'm going to get a little.
Don't you do it?
I'm going to get a little strategic here.
Don't you do it. No, I've been waiting and putting it off, but I really don't you do it.
I could really put a squeeze on you here.
It. No. I was betting you weren't going to do what I think you're about to say.
This is diabolical, but I'm going to do it.
No, don't do it.
I hope I'm thinking the same thing that you're thinking right now. I am going... This is such a dirty move. I'm going to take Ray and Nephew Overproof.
Ah, son of a bitch. I was betting on the fact that you were not going to do that
honestly,
move.
I had just assumed it was gone. But I guess your logic was, I already picked Rumfire. Why would I need Ray and Nephew Overproof? But you know what? They are different. And
they are different.
I love them both. I stock them both at home. So why would I not want to stock them both? Especially when at the same time I can hurt you a little bit and also match up pretty well. I mean, I know you thought with Nissan Blanc, you kind of had the unaged wrapped up. I don't know. If I'm putting a vote out to the people of Nissan Blanc versus Ray and Nephew Overproof, I'm just saying things might get interesting.
I'm speechless.
This is the first time it seems like there's like a little bit of actual anger.
Yeah, there's a little anger here. I think you're right. I really, really just didn't see you doing... I could see you taking a really late round flyer on it, but I didn't think we were at that point in the draft yet. It's like taking 2 top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that is what it's like, yeah.
Yes, and I just didn't see
when
you
there's
doing
only
that.
like 4 quarterbacks.
Right.
You left yourself defenseless.
Shit. I did. Oh man. So this is at the point in like a fantasy football draft where all of the good quarterbacks are gone. So I'm just going to wait on quarterback until the last round.
Right.
That's probably what I'll have to do
like
here
Ryan
with the
Tannehill
Overproof
or something.
Yeah. And if you want to stock up all of them, go for it and thin out the rest of your roster there.
All right. Only $25, by the way, I should add. So
I know. Yes. Thank you for reminding me that it was also a really great value pick.
You're welcome.
I have no choice, I feel, at this point. I'm going to have to go with Rumbar Silver before you take it somehow. It's not an Overproof.
No.
Obviously. But it is an unaged, really, really great Jamaican rum. A 1 liter bottle, again,
all
in this
pot
case,
still,
for $28.
being from Worthy Park.
All pot, exactly. And I love me some Worthy Park.
It was on my short list.
Gotta have some Worthy Park in there somehow.
I can't believe you don't. I can't believe you didn't have any yet.
Yeah, this is going to be the best fit for my team somewhere. I don't know where yet.
Okay,
but yeah, if if I'm really limited to these choices we're making right now and I'm going to be on that island, I want an unaged Jamaican that I stand up and believe in, and I love this one.
All right.
So I will run with that. If you haven't had Rum Bar Silver yet, you owe it to yourself to try it. It's a very good product. All right, where are you going to go next here, Will? What's are you going to steal from me now?
I don't know if I'll be stealing this from you. I want to stay on trend though of your last pick. I'm going to go with a pick from the same distillery.
Shit. Damn
well,
it.
no, I don't think I'm going to pick the one that would upset you.
Okay.
Although I pondered it. I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go with Worthy Park 109. Oh, that was the one you were thinking of.
Yes, that was the one. And I was literally picking between Rum Bar Silver and Worthy Park 109 on my last pick. And I was going to double up on it.
Yeah. So
yes, you yet again stole my pick. Yes.
This fits in either 100% pot still or the lightly aged category. It's $26. This is a newer product from Worthy Park, which I'm so upset that it's still not here in Nashville yet. I need this rum in my local life here. It's 54.5%,
which is Navy strength.
ABV. Yeah. It's like the. I can't. I'm thinking, is Matt Petrick going to yell at me? I can't. I think that's
Yes.
like the technically incorrect Navy strength, or maybe it's the correct Navy strength. I don't remember. I can't keep it straight. But
I feel like it was the correct one.
Matt has all the answers.
Totally wrong,
he knows. He's written the article about it. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, this is just. I love the style of the like kind of heavily colored Jamaican rums. Like I usually have Karuba at my house, and I love it for just simple cocktails like mixing with ginger beer or something like that. And it just brings that mouthfeel component. But this Worthy Park one is like the rum nerd's dream version of that rum, because it's got some higher ester stuff in it. It's way more flavorful, packs a punch, and has that kind of like thick molassesy mouthfeel to it because of the added color there. And yeah, it's just I don't have another rum like, I guess the Hamilton Zombie blend is somewhat like that, but it's not 100% Jamaican. I actually went back and looked. I forgot to mention there's some Trinidad in that Hamilton Zombie blend as well. So it's Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica. But anyway, going with Worthy Park here, and really happy about it. $26. See, I'm hitting you with all those value rums now, John. My last few picks, $25, $26, raking in the savings.
Yeah, I'm really pissed off back to back now.
I'm doing my job right.
Definitely, I was targeting those heavily there, and didn't expect really you to take both. So well done on your part. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm gonna need some time now because you've blown up everything again.
All right,
so
take your time.
Let me see. I have half a mind to pick Largo Bay.
Largo Bay 151.
All right, I'm going to go a different way.
Okay.
I thought I had decided. Now I'm going to go a different way, and I'm going to wait on that one just to see what happens. I'm going to go with one that people are going to be split on here. But I'm going to go with a rum that is sweetened.
Oh, okay.
But I will say that I really enjoy this rum, and I don't think it's overly sweetened for my palate. And I really do want to have some different finishes, secondary maturations. So I'm going to go with the Abuelo 15-year Solera finished rum. I think I'm going to go with the cognac finish. What I'm looking at there is, and I don't know where exactly this is going to go, maybe that 100% column. I feel like this is a rum that a lot of people really enjoy. And if I want to have a sweetened rum that I know I can enjoy and I like, this is going to be one of those. I have this in my bar. I visit it from time to time. Yes, it's on the sweeter side. Yes, it's more of almost like a dessertish type of rum that I don't visit quite as often as the non-sweetened. But I do feel like there is a place for this.
Well, there's certainly a place for it in your bar. You just took it.
Yeah, it's a controversial pick, and I know that, but it's one that even if it ends up on the bench, I'm happy that it's going to be on my deserted island.
Everyone give John all the mean comments for his pick. Direct them his way, not mine.
It's $70, not super cheap.
Yeah, I mean, with your budget, come on.
Exactly.
I was expecting something more expensive than that.
So yeah, there you go.
You know what? I appreciate you following your heart and not being afraid of picking something that some people may scoff at.
Yeah. And the people scoffing at it, scoff at it if you don't like it, but don't scoff at it just because it's following a different type of style of rum. I do wish, the only thing I wish is that they would, let let people know that they do sweeten the rum.
Right.
I will admit
Yes.
that. But other than that, it is a good product.
All right.
All right, what are you at?
Yeah, I'm really eyeing my budget and like getting a little nervous at how many rums I still need to pick. But I need something that is just a solid mixing rum that isn't, well, technically this is aged, but basically what I'm talking about is a white rum. So this is an aged and filtered rum, but something that isn't bringing, a lot of oakiness to it and that sort of thing. Something that is versatile, that I can use in a lot of different stuff. Something I can make a good daiquiri with, while probably also blending in some either Ray and Nephew or Rumfire, depending on which one I'm in the mood for, since I do have both of them. I'm going to pick Hamilton White Stash here for my lightly aged component. This is also a multi-country blend, and just a solid mixing rum that you can have in your bar. Again, you can make daiquiris, whatever calls for a lightly aged or white rum fits right in. So I'm picking something that's versatile, that only costs $27, and that I'm happy to have.
Yeah, it's a good pick, and not something I get as much use out of as maybe you do as a component. But I mean, you can't get any better than the reputation of the rum and what it's used for in so many people's bars. Yeah. So I get it. We're getting to the point now where this is just like in fantasy sports drafts, where there's no pick that doesn't have some sort of downside to it. And that's not to say that any of these rums are poor that we're picking. I don't mean it in that way. It just means like you wish maybe one thing was different than it is.
Sure.
Well, at least that's where I'm at in looking at these picks. I don't know if you feel the same.
I'm still feeling good about my picks. The only thing I'm worried about is my budget. So we'll see once I get into my bench picks how I'm still feeling. But yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling that way. I feel like all of these now have something that I'm like, I just wish something was slightly different. Okay, with that said, I think I am going to now go to what I feel is also a key rum.
Okay.
It's not a key rum on Lance the Lone Caner's side, I don't believe, but it's close. And you picked its cousin already.
I know what you're going to do.
Do you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Barbancourt 15.
Oh my God, no, that's not what I thought. Okay. I'm glad I didn't show my hand there. All right, Barbancourt 15. Interesting.
Barbancourt 15. This is the Barbancourt that I like the best.
Okay.
And as a sipping rum. And I think it's a fantastic sipping rum. I think it's different. It still brings that je ne sais quoi that Barbancourt has on it. But I actually had this in a blind tasting of 4 different rums, and it won of those 4. Now, those 4 weren't, necessarily stellar, and were all in that, kind of 40 to 48 ABV range.
Sure.
Nothing was outside of that, and they were mainly available rums. Let's put it that way, because this was in like a chain restaurant.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, just give me those, that rum flight that they had.
Right.
But of those 4 rums, this one surprisingly won. I did them blind, and this was the one that I enjoyed the most.
I could see that winning in that setting.
And so it's just for $50, a 15-year true, aged rum for the long-aged category works well for me. Yet another good value pick. I'm really surprised. I felt like I would be outspending you, but that hasn't been the case so far. So that's where I'm at. Our rosters are filling up.
We have the same amount of money. I'm not spending more just because I am spending higher amounts early. We're going to get to the same destination. So that's an interesting pick. I think because of the matchups, we probably won't get to pit it against Barbancourt 8, which would have been fun. But part of the reason I picked Barbancourt 8 is just honestly I just like that rum better. And I think the price factors into the equation somewhat. But that's cool that 2 rums from them both ended up here, and 2 rums that get discussed quite a bit and I think are kind of big parts of almost everyone's rum journey at some point. I feel people you inevitably go through Barbancourt. So let's see, I've got $249 left. I'm going to go with Trois Rivières Cuvée de l'Ocean, the Agricole Blanc at only $26 out of Martinique. I don't have a Blanc cane juice rum in my current lineup, and that to me is kind of a key rum style. And I was debating.
I got what you mean.
I was debating in between that. I was going to go with the Claren Casimir because I do really like that rum. As Kate Perry once said to me, Kazi don't fuck around. I always think of that when I see that rum. A really fun Claren, but at $40, I need to save some money. And like I was saying, I really do want a good example of a Blanc Agricole. And since you took my favorite one that's listed here, the Nissan Blanc, I'm going to go with this one at $26 out of Martinique.
You see what I mean now? You're
That's getting tough,
yeah.
That's probably the first pick I made that I'm not like
super psyched with.
Oh no, like I'm fine with it, but I'm just not like
Well, I'm going to kind of fill in some gaps in my roster here still that I've got to address.
Yep. Roster's looking like Swiss cheese over there.
No, it's not. It's almost as full as yours.
It's like one less pick than mine.
All right, so I think I've got my pick here. I'm going to still keep fading away from the cane juice aged right now. And I'm going to take this pick purely because you screwed me so bad earlier that if I don't do this, I feel like I'm going to have problems.
All right.
So I would have preferred the Worthy Park 109, I'm going to be honest. But Hamilton, Jamaica, Pot Still Black.
Okay.
That's a pretty good comparison and consolation.
A pretty good consolation prize, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, in a vote, that Hamilton, if those were to go head to head, I think Hamilton might win the popular vote because that rum has
I think it has a shot.
That rum has a cult following.
It's good stuff. $27. Can't beat it. I believe this is, at least in part, if not in whole, Worthy Park also, right?
Yeah, it's all Worthy Park to my understanding.
Yeah. So
you were talking about
close.
filling holes in your roster. This is going to your bench. What are you doing?
I just decided I didn't want you to steal that out from under me because it was one of the
I'm in your head now.
Two there.
I'm in your head now.
Yes, you are. Yeah. So I'll take that and put it on my bench. I'm fine with that.
So I am going to fill a hole in my current roster, which is not my second non-Caribbean slot. I really, in an ideal world, would have loved to have the Holmes-Key Single Origin Fiji on there. But since I can't get that, since you took it, I am going to take another Fiji rum because I do want Fiji in my bar because it's got its own thing. Just like I was talking about with Ben Lee, it's just got something you can't find elsewhere in the rum world. So there's a couple of transcontinental rum line selections here. And also, I want to go with the Fiji on the younger side. I like that younger Fiji taste,
Yeah.
I've had some great aged Fiji, like long aged Fijis as well, but I need to save some money, like I was saying. So I'm going to go with the TCRL Fiji 2014 5-year. So this is the
red label, right?
Yeah, the red label.
Yeah.
This is an all pot still rum, aged 2 years in Fiji, then 3 years in Europe. And yeah, a nice young Fiji rum gives a little bit of that Fiji funk, that signature kind of industrial quality that I do love.
Yep.
And it's at $56, so not super cheap, but it's doable for me right now. I feel okay with this. With oh my god, it's down to 167. That is a little nerve wracking. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, TCRL Fiji. All right, it's locked in. That's the pick. John, what are you doing next?
Well, I've not a lot of choice left here for overproofs, as you know.
I do know that. I took 3 of them.
Yes, so I'm going to have to go with this one because I know it does have a following. This is, going to be divisive for a lot of different reasons.
You're taking all the controversial picks.
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of stuck with it. So you did a good job strategically with leaving me holding the bag
into a corner to turn the internet against you.
I mean, I could take Largo Bay instead, but I'm not going to take Largo Bay 151. I'm going to take Plantation OFTD, and we're going to roll with that as our overproof.
I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah, people might say, "Oh, fuck that decision," but yes, I'm going to make that
That's
decision.
Good, OFTD. Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah, so your only choices left were that Forest Park Overproof 151 out of Trinidad or Largo Bay 151 Gold Overproof, which would have saved you a pretty penny at $19. But
listen, OFTD is no additives.
Yeah, if we're judging Plantation OFTD strictly on the rum, I think most people would agree that it is a really great overproof blend. You got Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana. It actually, the first time I had Black Tot, I think I said was this tastes like a proofed down version of OFTD with like a little more age.
I could see that.
Yeah, so I understand why you have been forced into this pick, but at least you're getting something that tastes good.
Yeah, it is. It is a good. It does taste good, and it has many uses.
Yes.
Here, so all the other stuff, arguments and things aside, it's the last pick that I feel good about on that list.
All right, I understand it. My diabolical plan succeeded.
Yeah, it did.
All right,
motherfucker.
So I've got one other age slot to fill, and then I need to round out my bench. This distillery already has a presence, and I am honestly stunned you did not take this already, because I thought it would be one of the first rums that you took. I really like this rum. This rum gets compared to another one that I already have in my aged lineup quite frequently.
Okay.
And I've made it clear in the past that I do prefer the one I already selected, which is the Hampton Estate Green Label. But I'm going to take its counterpart because it's great to compare these two. They bring completely different things to the table, even though they're from the same place, even though they're both 100% pot still. I'm going to take Worthy Park Estate Reserve.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I can't fault you for that. It's a fantastic run. One of my favorites.
Why didn't you pick it?
I came in with a strategy, and it didn't fit the strategy. I'm not sure if I have a better answer than that.
I think you followed the strategy too much, and you ignored your heart.
Well, I was going to pick Rum Bar Silver and Worthy Park 109.
Oh, okay.
So I figured of the three there that are Worthy Park, well, there's others, but that one was the one that I felt like I could leave out for now, and given the other selections that I had made. But yeah, I mean, you're getting a hell of a rum.
I'm really happy I got
can't
that.
Fault you.
I'm really happy with my age lineup I've got here. So, all right. It is now your turn.
Getting down to the wire here. I'm going to go with one that I think is a budget-friendly rum that now we're going to go with the one you thought I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
Which is the cousin of the key rums of the world, El Dorado 12.
Oh, okay. No, that's not what I thought you were going to take.
Oh, really?
I thought you were going to, I don't remember. I'm not going to say because I don't want to reveal it, but okay. El Dorado 12. All right.
El Dorado 12. Yeah. So you got the 15. I've got the 12. I feel pretty good about that. Now, I don't know where this will end up or if it stays on the bench, but between the 12 and the 15, like I was saying, there's many nights where I would pick the 12 over the 15.
Okay.
That feels right to me at, oh gosh, what is this, $27, something around there? I'm looking for it on the list. $28.
El Dorado 12 is $28?
$28 is what I have. For that price, for this rum, it's, and you mentioned earlier the new way that they are not including sweeteners now.
You're right, $28.
Can't beat it. So I'll take that all day long.
It's a hell of a deal. All right. Yeah. Good pick. All right. I'm going to keep this simple. This is my bench, so I don't even know if this will end up starting, but it is a classic rum. I've made it clear that I prefer a counterpart to it that you already selected.
Okay.
But since that is gone, I need good value. I'm going to take Doorly's XO.
Yeah, that's a hell of a pick.
And that is coming in at $27, which means I still have $80 to work with. All right, I'm feeling good about it. I got two more rums to go, $80. I can do this. Where are you going to take things from here?
All right, here we go with the third to the last pick in the draft here. I'm going to pull out a doozy here.
All right.
This feels a little wrong to me. Okay. But it's on the site. It's within our rules.
Okay.
And so unless you want to talk about this and veto it,
are you trying to bend the rules now? What are you doing here?
No. There is a Nissan View.
Oh, yeah.
On the site. I don't know anything else about it because it doesn't have any other description to it. Okay.
So it's part of that same... It's one of Ed Hamilton's selections. It is... I think it was aged all in New American Oak. Okay. And I think it was released at about 50% ABV, if I'm remembering correctly. It's
okay, so about the same.
It's the only one I haven't tried. I've seen a couple of people who have reviewed the trio of picks, and that one both times was the least enjoyed. But you already picked it. So. I'm sure it's still really good, though. I'm sure it's still good.
The thing is, I feel like it would be not within the spirit of this game that we've created, because like putting it into that slot, it's Nissan View versus Nissan View, and I don't feel right about it.
I think it's totally within your bounds. Also, you could always put something else in your cane juice aged category.
It's not going to sit right with me.
All right.
I'm not going to do it.
You got to be at
not
peace.
Gonna do
you
it.
got to be able to, look yourself in the mirror.
I'm gonna probably take the L on this on this category, but we're gonna go with one I do enjoy: Labatt Family Reserve.
Pere Labatt Family Reserve.
Yeah, so Marie Gallant rum. I really, really enjoy Pere Labatt's
59
unaged stuff.
Yeah.
The 59 is so fantastic. I will say the aged rums that are cane juice rums, they're a little bit more difficult for me to love than the unaged for whatever reason.
I agree with you there.
And this one's only 42% ABV, so it's not really a high ABV for the price, which is $70. So it's a 6-year aged rum here, minimum, and it's good. It's just, if I'm being totally honest, I feel like I'm taking the L against your Nissan View there.
Yeah, I mean, probably so, but it was a spectacular pick on my part, so I can't really fault you.
My island has just this rum on it, I'm happy to have it. It does fill a category and a hole in my lineup, so we're going to go with that.
All right, great. All right, I got to do some thinking on my next pick here, because, it's getting down to it here. I'm feeling the crunch. All right, you know what? I was worried about not having enough to buy this rum earlier, but I've still got $80. I've only got 2 picks. This is half of the remaining budget. Now I'm going to get Claire and Casimir.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
So already explained my reasoning. Now I've got a Claire in here that was a style of rum that was not present in my bar. Now it is here. It's on my bench, so I've got the option to work it in at some point if I would like to. And I'm really happy I ended up coming back and getting this one.
Yeah, that's a good late round pick there. I can't fault it. I have that bottle. I think it's the third of. I still like Sajus and La Roche better, but that's not because Casimir is bad. It's just kind of a mild preference. Right. But it's a very good rum and certainly a good pick.
Yeah, those are the only. Well, there was also Claire and Communal is also an option here, but of the original kind of, I think 4, Casimir and Le Roche were the only ones. All right, you got 2 picks left, bud.
Well, I've got 2 rums left and $159, and I'm just trying to see. I think I was not originally going to go with this, but I love it. I just think it's a divisive rum.
The draft's all about making adjustments. So, what are you going with?
If I could afford it, I would have gone another place, but I'm going to go with the Holmes Key South Africa 2017.
Yeah, MOBA.
Yeah.
That's
MOBA.
That's what I figured you were going to do. I mean, it seemed like a great option. If I were picking against myself, it's probably what I would have picked.
Yeah, I mean, it is, like you said, it's kind of the no-brainer at this point. I have the money for it. It's 110. 59 ABV. It fits in the lightly aged category, funny enough, at 4 years. Yeah. But I needed that non-Caribbean, and that was kind of the way to go.
Still got
there.
$49 left.
I really, really love that rum.
Yeah.
But I've also heard from other people who say they don't like it.
Yeah, but it has an extremely passionate following, I would say.
Yeah.
I was going to say the obvious choices to me for you to fill that non-Caribbean slot were either that or the TCRL Australia 2013, which
that was the other one. I just feel like that's strictly not as good as your pick.
That's true.
So that was the problem. Yeah, you picked well
the
there.
$100 version. I felt like,
I was like, man, I can't. Yeah. So,
the non-Caribbean category will be an interesting matchup because they're both strong, both of our selections, and similar in some way. I feel like I'm gonna lose the Fiji matchup, but I had no choice. And look, you were on me for spending way too much early on. We're each down to our last pick. I have $40 left. You have $49 left. We basically ended up in the same place here.
Yeah. If we somehow get a tie, it should be the person that had the most money left over. That's the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I like that.
Easy to say now for me, huh?
All right. I'm really, one thing I do regret is that I wasn't able to fit a St. Lucia selection into my lineup. I did. They have the St. Lucia 2009 vintage, which I strongly considered, but it was $70. And just as I got down towards the end of this, I just didn't have the budget for it. So I was really wishing they had Chairman's Reserve Legacy because I love the value of that rum. And I'd love to have that in my lineup for the diversity. But since that's not here, I'm going to pick something. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to complete the Jamaica circle here, and I'm going to pick something that's exactly $40, and I'm going to pick something that I know is a rum that you like as well, which is Money Musk's Special Reserve. So I've already got a hefty Jamaican presence, but again, this is just the bench, and you know what? Also, I've got Worthy Park, I've got Hamden, I've got the Ray and Nephew Overproof, which brings in the whole J. Ray and Nephew family. And now I've got some Clarendon, and it's a little fuzzy on when Money Musk branded products started being both Clarendon and Long Pond. I think that was a more recent change, but that's kind of the party line now, that Money Musk products are from both distilleries. So maybe there's some Long Pond in there too. I don't know for sure, but if there is, then I would, bring in another Jamaican distillery as well. So anyway, I'm going to wrap things up with that pick. I'm happy about it. And it feels really satisfying to have literally spent all 1,000 of my dollars evenly finding a $40 rum there at the end.
Fantastic job. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
You. The question is, can you find an exactly $49 rum to round things out?
I cannot. I looked already, and I cannot, unfortunately.
Doesn't exist.
Oh, man.
You get some Bumbu XO at 47.
Nope. Are there people on this island that I do not like? Because in this
there
case,
are others.
Then maybe maybe the others will get that rum and leave me alone. I don't see anything that's exactly 49 here, and even if I did, I doubt that I would want to go with it.
It stinks that you don't have exactly 50, because there's some good options that are exactly 50.
Yeah, I know.
You could have gone with RL Seal 12 year, Mount Gay Black Barrel.
I know. Either one of those would have been in contention. Yep.
Oof.
Yep, missed it by $1. I'm looking at the rest of the options here. Slim pickings for this price and what's left here. Still some interesting things, but I'm trying to fill what I don't have. I'm looking at a couple of things here. Had I not went with that Abuelo 15 year, I might have looked at a Brugal 1888 for $40. But I feel like that's going to be similar. I see New Grove White is interesting. So a Mauritius. For $25 also, which would, give me the tiebreaker that I just made up right now.
Right.
But yet again, 40 ABV. I have a lot of good unaged stuff. I'm just not sure that one ever gets pulled out.
See, I think the tiebreaker should be spending exactly all of your money.
I see why you think that.
Right.
And then there's the last one that I'm kind of thinking about would be purely because I want to name my team this.
Oh, okay. That's a great reason to pick something. It really is.
If I don't pick this, how can I do that? I would have preferred the 18 here, but I think I'm going to do this. I think, you know what? Fuck it. We're do it live.
All right.
We're gonna do this right now. We're going to do Flor de Caña 7-year gold.
Oh, wow.
At $25. This will be the well rum for drinks for people who don't like rum.
Perfect. I was going to say it's perfect for that. Yeah.
And I get to name my team Let the Bodies Hit the Flor de Caña.
Oh, wow. That's nice. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, that's worth it right there, I think.
Yeah. What's the price
there you go.
On that
That's $25.
$25. So you clutched onto that money for dear life, and you've got $24 left over.
Look at me leaving $24 on the table like that. Shame. Oh man.
There's nothing you can buy with that $24 on that desert island.
Nope. I can buy maybe some coconuts, but I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. This was fun. This was really interesting.
I had a blast doing this. I'm interested to see how fun it was for people to listen to. I hope we kept things fun and entertaining. But
or if we can, get some ideas based off of this. Maybe people are listening and going, "Oh, this would be a cool idea to kind of take off of what you're doing." And we can evolve
all
this.
The innovators out there. Let us know how we can keep iterating on this fantasy rum idea. And maybe get it to a point where we can build out an entire league with week-to-week matchups and things like that. Get super nerdy with it. But we'll put some links in the show notes. We'll post on social media about how to submit your votes. We'd really appreciate your input on this. I think it'd be really fun to get a conversation going about this. And I'll be honest, I just want the W. I feel like I drafted the better team, and now I want that sweet, sweet validation from everyone else out there. So We'll tell you how to vote. Go, follow the links, send us your thoughts. If you want to email us your thoughts about this format, if you have more fantasy rum ideas, please email them to host@rumcast.com. That's HOST@rumcast.com. Or you can just send us a direct message on one of our many social media channels. Where are we, John?
We're at the Rumcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube. And we may have to just, release the video footage for this
Maybe
one.
so.
I just feel like having that there for people to look at as we were drafting these might be helpful.
The raw, uncut
so yeah, maybe
version.
you may have to sit through some long silences that Will took forever to make his pick with. But
we'll edit those out on the podcast version. I can't promise it for YouTube though.
Yeah, but it really was fun. I do feel like we both had some interesting picks and a strong draft with it. Looking forward to hearing what people like about it and what we might be able to do differently.
Yep.
So thank you so much for listening, Will. Thanks so much for...
Did you just thank me for listening?
Engaging in this. No. Thank to you for spending the time going through this with me.
It was a blast.
Engaging in this crazy idea. So
2 years in the making. I'm glad we finally did it.
I had fun.
But I look forward to seeing what the results are. So send in your votes, let us know your thoughts, and we will see you on the other side.
See you next time.